what is the most important thing you need to know if you're a crypto investor, if you plan on investing, hodling, and putting your money in these long-term investments? Well, you want to put it in projects that are going to last. Now, the question is, how do you figure out which ones are going to last? Well, there's a few different strategies you can use, but one strategy I use that seems to work pretty well is you put your money in projects where big companies are putting their money in, where governments are going to be supporting. Supporting probably isn't the right word. Where governments are not going to be wanting to tear down these projects. So you can look for different projects that are supported by, the big one is the World Economic Forum, or other ones that other big companies, maybe like Google, Microsoft, IBM, have hands in. You've got to look for these connections. Now, I'm not going to go into this video how you find those connections, but those are just kind of the general things that you're going to want to be looking for when you're determining some of these projects that are going to be around for a while, that are really going to have a high probability for success over the coming years. So that's one strategy I really use now. Some of the projects that I pay attention to, I mean, some of the more obvious ones you could say is, for example, like Crypto.com, XRP, Polkadot. Those are some big projects now. There's many projects out there that have great sentiment in the markets and are backed by some of these big companies and where governments are, you can see that the governments are not there to really going to be tear down now. There's some things going on with XRP. Obviously, there's a lawsuit between them and the SEC, but there are some other factors here that I'm not going to mention. But that's really some really important things you want to look at now. Some other ones that I didn't mention would be like HBAR. HBAR is a really big one. Hedera hash grab. There's that one, Hedera hash grab. That one, that's a big one. It's not going anywhere now. As far as Bitcoin and Ethereum goes, Ethereum is somewhat of a. I'm kind of torn between Ethereum, whether I think if it's going to last or not. Now, I really don't think Ethereum is going to go anywhere. I just think it doesn't have as much potential for growth as a lot of these other cryptocurrencies do. But Bitcoin, the thing that gets me about Bitcoin is, yes, it's the OG, it's the original, but there's not a whole lot of utility other than a store of value for Bitcoin versus even Ethereum, for example, with smart contracts. There's just so much more you can utilize with these other cryptocurrencies. Oh, and another big one is Stellar. Stellar is huge. Stellar is huge. So definitely, before you really invest in a lot of these projects, you want to do your homework. When you don't FOMO into a lot of these projects, really take your time, which I had to learn this mistake the hard way. Really take your time and look into these projects. Take the time. Don't jump in and jump out. Really pay attention to what the market's doing. You have years now. I wouldn't say necessarily wait years before you start investing, but you have years to make it in this market. It'll take the days, the weeks to really make that difference. Take the time to learn, because I got in some when I first got in the market, I foamed in some of these projects at all times high. That's obviously the last thing you want to do. You want to get in on a lot of these markets, or where they are right now, where markets are heavily corrected. A lot of these projects are down 90%, some of these projects. So you really, really want to take a look here and take the time to learn about these projects. For times like right now, you learn about the projects that you can really put your money into when the price has corrected at this time, to prepare for that next bull run, so you know what you're doing when those times come. But this is just a little introduction video. More to come soon.